All right. What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to another episode. Hope everybody's having a great day. So, look, today we're talking strictly Georgia Tech, and we're going to talk about stock risers. I did an article on this, but I wanted to do a video and give kind of my name, obviously, on this. Obviously, it's on Georgia Tech on SI. Obviously, I'm one of the main reporters there, but I just wanted to tell you guys my thoughts of why these guys are pretty much my stock risers, man. I feel like these guys are going to be potent this year, and I really feel like they're going to stand out and they're going to make a key difference for Georgia Tech, right? All right, so Notch, who are your stock risers, right? So we're gonna go ahead and pull up the article, make myself a little bit bigger. Hold on one sec, guys. I'm sorry. There we go. Perfect. Right. So starting off the bat, I'm gonna go. I'm not even gonna look at obviously the names I have, right? But I'm gonna go Kevin Roche Jr., right? He's been a guy that Coach Key has talked about as a guy that is the full complete package, can block, can obviously run routes, and he was really good in the spring, right? 6 catches, 70 yards. He did everything he was supposed to do for Coach Key and obviously the program, and he's gonna be a major player to watch going forward. Now, each of these guys in the tight end room obviously has their strengths and weaknesses and what they bring to the table, right? Gavin Harris is going to align alongside the same means of what Kevin Roche Jr. does, which is catching the ball, being an asset in the passing game, being the guy that you can go to on that third and medium, third and long, and they forget about the tight end. Gavin Harris and Kevin Roche Jr. is going to come up with those big time plays, right? So you have obviously that standpoint of it all. Then you have Spencer Murmurs and Chris Corbo. Corbo is also a big time receiving threat as well. So you're not going to sleep on that part for him, but he's also a big time receiving threat. But in addition to him, you also have Murmurs, who's kind of like, he's that dog, right? He's that JT Byrne. He's that, I'm saying, guy from last year that he's going to block for you, right? He's going to make all the plays necessary for you to win basically the football game, right? And he's going to get down and dirty against those defensive ends, against some of those primetime players and make those blocks. And he's just a kill guy, right? He's going to go kill you and he don't care, right? So that is what Spencer Murmurs brings to the table. But the other three are going to be mainly your pass catching tight ends, right? So I thought Kevin Roche Jr. took a big step forward. He's been standing out in the spring making plays, and we got to see it fully on display in the spring game. So he will be another playmaker to watch. I think he severely raised his stock. He was already raising it throughout the spring, but the spring game was kind of like that final destination, that final chance essentially for him to obviously raise that stock. So I feel like he did that obviously on Saturday. In addition to him, guys, I'm going to also say Jordan Walker was another one I thought raised his stock, right? 2 sacks in his game. Just this honestly was relentless, guys. Could not be stopped. I talked about it, obviously, my spring takeaways, but you see what he does. Get off the bus guy, 6'4", 210, does everything that you need him to do in order to be successful. I feel like Jordan Walker has a bright future, and I feel like it was the best plan for him to come to Georgia Tech in order to kind of become that guy. Because think about it, y'all. Georgia Tech has not had an elite defensive line in quite a long time, right? No disrespect to Jordan Vandenberg or Kilo Stone or Jason Moore or Jordan Boyd. Jordan Boyd's going to be a very good player this year for Georgia Tech as well. But they have not had that guy. And it feels like for the first time this year, y'all, Georgia Tech has multiple guys that can get it done, right? In addition to Jordan Walker, in addition to Christian Garrett, in addition to Tawfiq Thomas, this defensive line is special. And Coach Key has been very excited about what these guys have been doing and what they've been bringing to the forefront and to the table, right? So I feel like they're in a good position, and these guys are going to continue to make plays moving forward. So Jordan Walker definitely put on display. In addition to him, I got to go Noah Carter, bro. He was also a standout. 3 tackles, 2 sacks in his game, did everything that you needed him to do. It was just like the quick first step, the power, the strength, right? And when you have a defensive line that does that, that leads to turnovers, that leads to TFLs. This offense did not move the ball at all for Georgia Tech really in that first quarter, right? They pretty much shut it down. And the one drive that you've seen, obviously, in the second quarter, they started to pick it up a little bit. Obviously, Team Reckon was trying to score right before they had to kick a field goal. Noah Carter comes up with a big-time sack on second down and forces a third and long where they have to settle for a field goal. That tells me all I need to know, right? And that is what they've been missing. Now, I think Andre Fuller Jr., Amontre Bradford are going to be some guys that take steps forward this year in their growth and their development, but this is going to be a very deep defensive line with Noah Carter, with Jordan Walker, with all those guys I mentioned. So his stock definitely rise. They've already been talking about him. He plays that one-track speed, basically, which is the same thing as Spencer Murmurs. He's trying to kill you. He likes hitting quarterbacks. He wants to rough you up. He wants to make you feel his presence. And I feel like for that reason, Noah Carter is definitely another guy that obviously stood out. We were talking about Kevin Roche Jr. In addition to him, I got to go JP Powell, man. He had that long, I think it was 56-yard run in the game, made a couple people miss, bounced it to the outside, did what he was supposed to do, obviously going up against the defense. I feel like JP Powell has a bright future. It sucks because he's in a loaded running back room that obviously includes Justice Haynes, Malachi Hosley. But who will be running back 3? Now you got Chad Alexander, who is kind of, added some versatility to his game, which I kind of like, right? He's playing out of the slot a little bit. He's catching passes. That versatility is going to help Chad when the running back room is crowded and loaded. You might not get in, but if I can match you up against a slot cornerback or their third best corner, and if you Chad Alexander, you can win on that consistently, I feel pretty damn good about what you can bring to my team and what you can bring to the table, right? So that's going to help him out a lot. The way JP Powell comes in, when Justice Haynes needs a rest or Malachi Hosley needs a rest on certain plays or certain downs, this is you can bring in JP Powell and he could be that one-hit guy. Right now, last year, both of those guys are really good. Justice Haynes, 7.1 yards per carry. Same thing for Malachi Hosley. But then when you come in, okay, it's third, fourth quarter. Hey, let's get both of those guys a break. We're going to need them for the fourth. You bring in a guy like JP Powell, and he can hit that one cut, 56-yard scamper and be able to score the long touchdown. And he's been patient in his development, right? He could have easily left and went somewhere else, decided not to, decided to stand 10 toes down, and decided to obviously be a guy that continues developing the system. Even though the best coach left, JP Powell stayed, and just shows the culture of Georgia Tech and what obviously it brings to the table. And I think he's going to be a guy to watch this year. He's going to fly under the radar like Shane Marshall is as well. But JP Powell also, in my opinion, rose his stock, and he should be a guy that obviously plays a good amount this season. And then I got Debron Gatling. The biggest question that has been for Georgia Tech has been this wide receiver room. How good is it? The chemistry they're building with obviously Mendoza. They missed some throws on Saturdays I talked about. But we need guys to step up, right? And I feel like for Debron Gatling, he took the full opportunity. Last year had a very productive spring game, guys. This one, 4 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. He did everything he needed to do in order to take that step forward in his career, in my humble opinion. And he's been a guy that has flown under the radar. Now, not in high school. High school, he was highly rated, right? Went to South Carolina before coming back home. But since he's been back home at Georgia Tech, didn't play a lot last year, he's flown under the radar. They're going to need other guys to be able to beat one-on-one coverage. They're going to need other guys that's going to be able to win outside, right? In addition to Jordan Allen. Jordan Allen, I already know that's going to be done. But with Isaiah Furman being hurt, right, Dalen Pitts converting to wide receiver, he didn't play in the spring game. They need other people because they're going to get a lot of the attention. They're going to stack that box 8 to 9 men. They're going to try to slow down Justice Haynes and Malachi Hosley. They're going to dare Alberto Mendoza and those receivers on the outside to beat them. And they have to consistently win on the outside. And this is the other 3 I mentioned. I think Gatling is that guy, right? Whether you platoon swap or you bring him in on a certain down and distance, I feel like he's going to be the guy that comes up with those big plays. And we've seen, obviously, the Moss catch he had over Isaac Aborta, who transferred from wide receiver to DB. And I know some people ain't going to be obviously thrilled with that, but he made plays throughout, whether it was against him or the other cornerbacks. It doesn't matter. Right, that is what you want to see, the growth and the progression. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. We'll see if there's any true freshmen that come up, and fall camp will give us a little bit more of an idea to see kind of who's coming up, who will play more. But Gatling did a lot in the spring game, my humble opinion, to raise his stock and to be a guy that Georgia Tech can obviously depend on. My other guy I didn't mention on this list is Evan Haynes. Another guy, obviously, he was at North Carolina, spent the semester there before coming back home. Obviously, had to kind of go through the works a little bit. Didn't really play at all last season, redshirted. He gave them a great opportunity. Was it perfect? No. Did he have some drops? Yes. But he made a number of plays that showed you, hey, he could be a big-time receiving threat for you. 6'3", 6'4", like, you know what I'm saying? This guy is huge, right? So he can go up and sky for those passes. He can go up and sky for, against other DBs. He can catch the ball down the sideline and had a concentration with the over-the-shoulder catch. Like, he showed different things that he could do as well. So I feel like he was another guy that obviously stood out to me, and we'll see if that leads to more playing time on the field. But both Gatling and obviously Haynes can build on that. That's going to be massive going forward for Georgia Tech. In addition to them, some honorable mentions. Got to throw Christian Speakman in there. He had a really productive spring, was terrorizing people, doing his thing. And he's going to definitely play on first and second down. You know what I'm saying? I think this upcoming fall for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. He has a very bright future. He's very talented, and he's going to be a guy that continues to push for that. And I even said, I made the declaration that, hey, he could be freshman All-American. I really believe that. With him and Tawfiq, with a Christian Garrett on the inside, they have a potential to be one of the best defensive lines in the country. And I don't say that lightly. You can argue with me, argue with your mama, or whatever. That defensive line is going to be very good this year. And I think Christian Speakman is going to be one of the reasons why, in addition to other many, obviously, reasons. So he's an honorable mention for me. They had a strong spring. Who else? You could throw in there Keelan Jones. Obviously, of course, the Hurd twins were very productive throughout the spring. We talked about tight ends. Linebacker wise, they're gonna go Braylon Outlaw, the true freshman. He was another one that obviously is an honorable mention that stood out. He's gonna obviously have a very bright future moving ahead. And then I'm gonna end with Savion Riley. He was another one I thought stood out and did his thing during the spring and obviously raised his stock. So do y'all have it, man? Those are my stock. My bad. those are my stock risers, guys, from this past spring. I'm gonna post this video for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know other content you guys want to see, man, daily, obviously, on the channel. Trying to keep this thing loaded for you guys. I appreciate y'all running me up to 800 views on my game reactions, man. Y'all help me get to a K, man, and like, comment, subscribe, and hype up the video, and let me know other content y'all want to see. I want to make this channel tailored to y'all and continue to grow it. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.